My next inductee was probably a little bit ahead of his time. He was a great passer before passing became the rage. Set a record at Stratford that stood for over 35 years when it came to passing yards. All-state selection, led his team to back-to-back state championship games. All-region, figured if he was a good quarterback, he probably would be a pretty good pitcher. And he was. All-state as a baseball pitcher. Led his team to a state title. Football scholarship, University of Tennessee, Chattanooga. Then transferred to Utah, where he played quarterback and was a pitcher for the Utes. I first came across him when he was a sportscaster. He was smart. He realized there was no money to be made in broadcasting and quickly got out of it. But he didn't meet his wife while he was in broadcasting. He's done numerous things since then, continues to work tirelessly to make our community a better place. Right now working with, among other things, the RBI program, revitalizing baseball in our inner cities. He flew as an eagle, he ran as a Ute. Tonight he walks into the Macon Sports Hall of Fame, where he joins his wife as the only husband and wife team in the Macon Sports Hall of Fame. Please welcome Mr. Jeff Battcher.
Frank, thank you. And you know, Frank, of everybody in this community, I don't think you get enough credit for everything that you do for the nonprofit groups here. Thank you. And thank you for always, when I call you all the time. Is there a better husband or a better father in the entire world?
Yes, there is.
Thank you very much. To the Julius Adams family, Julius was very kind to me when I was starting as a sportscaster. He was the nicest guy when I didn't have a clue as what I was doing. I'd go over and interview him before Super Bowl games, and he was so kind and gracious with his time. I miss him, and I really wish that he was here tonight. I had a really elaborate speech set up. I was going to talk about my bride and us, you know, her being in 10 years before me. I was gonna, 10 years before me. Never once did she ever mention that she was in the Hall of Fame 10 years before me. I was, of course, gonna talk about my two brothers, Richard and Tony. I was gonna talk about my great friends, the Welborn family, my great friend Pete Welborn, Daryl Jones, who helped me go to Stratford Academy. The great Bill Curry is here tonight. Harold Reed, my friend from Atlanta, came down with his dad. All these people are here. But I'm going to call a little bit of an audible tonight, if you don't mind. There's somebody I want to talk about that none of you know, that is not anybody famous. He lived in the same house for 40 years, married and lived with, and is still married to the same woman for 40 years, had the same job for 40 years. Not rich, but had more of an influence on my life than anybody probably in this room. He was my Little League baseball coach. His name is Vernon Sinclair. I spent the last 2 days with him in ICU. He's got cancer. As a young boy, 7 years old, family's in turmoil, dad leaves, mom's struggling to find a job. She finally does, and it's that split shift. You know, we have to work 4 hours in the morning and 4 hours at night. But I want to play Little League baseball. So she drops me off at Almogi Little League, registration form in hand, and says, I'm sure somebody will give you a ride home. It's a different time. So I go through registration and make a team, and I'm standing there thinking, I need to figure out a way to get home. This gentleman comes up to me, it's Mr. Sinclair. I've always called him Mr. Sinclair. He said, son, you need a ride home? I said, yes, I do. I said, well, you know, I live way out past Bowden Golf Course, almost to Jones County, out in East Macon. He said, that's all right, son, I'll take you home. For the next 3 years, he made sure that I was always on his team because he knew I didn't have a ride back and forth for Little League baseball. He wasn't a great baseball coach. He was okay with the fundamentals. He wasn't a great motivational speaker. But what he was he was there. He was there for me. And that raggedy old blue station wagon, he was there. He was never late, and he was always there. That blue station wagon, and Mr. Sinclair, and a lot of you in this room, that gave me hope. That gave hope to a redneck kid who didn't have anything. That I had a future, that there was something possible for me. That I could maybe achieve something. I wouldn't be that kid that's left in the shadows. He's in ICU right now. And I spent the last 2 days with him thinking, because of you, I'm here. I've got a life because you cared enough about me. People ask me all the time, why do you spend so much time doing the RBI program? Why did you work so hard to get the Hawks to come down here for their camp? Why did you work with your friend Scott Nash to give soccer shoes for the kids in Greece, the poorest of the poor, the Roma kids? Why do you work with Daybreak for the homeless? There's a lot of eyes in there. It's not about me. It's about you. It's about Vernon Sinclair. I have a debt to repay. And until my last day, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to help those who are left in the shadows to let them know that there's something there. And to let those that are downtrodden know that there's some hope. It may come in the form of an old, blue, beat-up station wagon, but there's always hope. Thank you.
Our next inductee played football and golf in high school. He was a smart one. He decided golf would be the area he would go for his professional career. Played at Georgia Southern, then graduated